So hi and welcome to this session, this CyCoffee session, where we're going to be talking about how to stay ahead with lean IT security teams. Now, being a sales engineer myself, I speak to many organisations, and the reality at the moment is that most organisations have the technology, but they don't necessarily have the right security team in place. So if we look at the ideal security team, you're going to need a security analyst, you're going to need a security engineer, you're going to need a security architect, a project manager, vendor manager, security operations, etc., etc. And to top it all off, you're going to need a CISO, Chief Information Security Officer. But having all of this is costly. We all know in cybersecurity there's a lack of skill sets. I know now there's many courses available, and there's also within universities the degrees you can do in cybersecurity. But the reality is there's very few organisations that have the resources and the budget to have this ideal security team. And to cover all of these functions, right, it's going to be costly. A lot of organisations that don't have the luxury of having this security team, there's many important tasks and initiatives that are ignored. So when we think about technology, a lot of organisations have gone out and bought technology. It's given them lots of information, but without the security team to back it up, they're really not able to identify and understand the root cause and the impact of some of these incidents that are occurring within the organisation. And a lot of this is then overseen, and a lot of attacks happen because they just don't have the security team in place to deal with it. So it's not necessarily the technology, it's more to do with the security team or the lack of security team within most of organisations. So let's talk about what approach is going to work for you. So I guess historically what customers that I speak to are trying to do is build an internal team. So ideally with that, you're going to need at least 6 trained analysts. When you think of holidays and vacations and maybe emergencies that may happen. And you're also going to have to, acquire the appropriate tooling as well. If you would have watched maybe one of my other CyCoffee sessions I talked about people, process and technology. Well, it's the same here, right? You need a security team, but you also need to have the right process and the technology to back it up. So choice 2 and a new option, potentially, well, not so new, but it's been around for a while now, is to outsource your team to what we call an MDR, a Managed Detection and Response. And what this gives you is a little bit more scalable coverage, and it's always on, right? Because when we think about attacks, they don't work 9 till 5, they don't work Monday to Friday. They're also working at weekends as well. So first of all, it's going to give you 24/7 coverage. It's going to give and address that when you haven't got the luxury or the budget of that internal team. It's going to give you highly skilled analysts that will come with the service, and it should do. If it's the new type of technology, when we talk about XDR, Extended Detection and Response, it should give you the advanced tooling as well, along with the managed service. Again, going back to one of my previous sessions when I talked about that people, process and technology, it's all good and well having a service, but you still need to have the right technology with it as well. So at Cynet, obviously we have our 24/7 managed detection and response. And as I've mentioned, the benefit is you can really think of it as an extension to your security team. So rather than go out and build that internal team, which I just mentioned previously, why not leverage a service which can extend your security team and give you that expertise and those skill sets that are required to build a process and a good cybersecurity strategy. And a good cybersecurity or managed detection and response service should cover 3 elements. Should have the detection element, which we can use, which we can think of as the tooling. It should have the investigation element, which is the people element and the ability to understand, well, when we get an alert within the tooling, what does it actually mean to me as a business? What's the root cause and what's the impact? And then finally, the response element. I speak to many customers and they have lots of good technology and maybe people in place, that it can often tell them that something malicious has happened, but where we see it break down is the response element and having the skill sets to understand, well, what really happened in the environment. So a good, the solution from Cynet offers all of these three elements as a service, along with the tooling as well. And I just wanted to finish briefly on the Cynet vision, and I'm going to read this as a quote. So the Cynet vision is to enable lean security teams to put their cybersecurity on autopilot and focus on their limited resources on managing security rather than operating it. And just to finish off, just to summarize and how to stay ahead with a lean IT security team is to utilize the Cynet Managed Detection and Response service. So thank you for your time. I hope you found that informative and have a great day.